Hey guys, today is the last lesson of the physics unit. It's going to be really quick and easy, and best of all, there's no calculations. So today we're going to be going over the development of engine technology. Essentially, we're just going to be looking at all of the different people that contributed to engine technology. So the steam engine was kind of the first type of engine that came around. A steam engine is any machine that generates steam and then converts steam pressure into mechanical kinetic motion. Thomas Savery was the first person to invent the steam pump. And then kind of steam power just blew up after that and was used in all major industry and lots of different types of locomotion, trains, boats, that kind of stuff. Then came Thomas Newcomen, who invented the atmospheric engine, which was just an improvement on the steam engine. It used atmospheric pressure to pump water, where the water would then be boiled to make steam. So that was just an increased efficiency on the way that water was transported to the boiler in order to be boiled to make steam. Then came James Watt. He invented the double-acting steam engine, which was another improvement. It allowed the steam pressure to be diverted to different areas of the engine in order to move pistons in two different directions. There was also some gears and levers and stuff like that that could allow steam to turn a wheel. All of this just gave more control to the operator. Steam engines powered tons of different small machines and really helped drive the Industrial Revolution. They also allowed for the replacement of horses in both agriculture and a bunch of different modes of transportation. And by the 1800s, steam engines were used to power like massive trains and huge steamboats. And to this day, steamboats and stuff still run. Charles Parson then kind of perfected the steam turbine engine. Essentially, the steam would pass through the blades of the turbine, causing the turbine to spin. And this worked better than the pistons that had to move in the older models of steam engines. And like there are still huge like ocean liners that use this type of steam turbine engine. Then came the internal combustion engine, which always has at least one hollow cylinder in which fuel is burned. The fueling burn heats up the air inside the cylinder, and that increases air pressure because when air heats up, it expands because the molecules move around faster. The air pressure is then used to move a piston, which turns a crankshaft. I don't even know what these words are. I'm really not familiar with the internal structure of engines, and you don't need to be either. You really just need to know that the internal combustion engine has a combustion chamber, and that the purpose of that is to use air pressure. Okay, so Philippe Le Bon invented the first internal combustion engine, and it burned coal as a fuel source. And then four-stroke engines were later developed that had 4 different phases with different movements. So the first phase is injection, where fuel and air are injected into the cylinder. Then ignition, where the fuel source is ignited. Then expansion, so as the fuel burns, the air heats up. As the air heats up, it expands, and that expanding air pushes on a piston. And then the fourth phase is the exhaust phase. That is after all the fuel is burned up, the air pressure will decrease again as the air cools down, and then the fumes that are left over are pushed out of the cylinder as the piston moves back into its original position because the air pressure is not pushing on it anymore. Present-day combustion engines contain variable valve timing, which means that air and fuel can be pushed into cylinders at different speeds. That allows the engine to be more flexible and to adapt to changing conditions. So for instance, if you need to like speed up really quickly to like pass a truck on the highway or something, you can like have more energy in order to allow that to happen. So it increases fuel economy and engine performance by doing that. Both combustion and steam engines are a type of heat engine, so it uses thermal energy, whether it's the thermal energy of steam or the thermal energy of air, in order to do mechanical work, which is just the movement of the pistons and crankshafts and all that kind of stuff. So that is it for this lesson. The only thing that you need to know is kind of what each person did. So go through this lesson, look at each name, and then you don't have to go very in-depth into it. No, Philippe Lebon was responsible for the first internal combustion engine. Know that Charles Parsons was responsible for the steam turbine engine, that sort of thing. So each person just know kind of very briefly what it was that they invented or that they came up with. And that's it. There'll only be like a question or two on the unit test debate this time.